All right, welcome everybody to our webinar tonight. I'm Summer Boger, the California Eagle Forum State President, and we have our Executive Secretary here co-hosting with me, Orlean Cola, and we have our special guest speaker tonight, Brenda Lebsack, and she's going to be talking to us about everything that's been happening in public education. We're so excited to have her on. We're so grateful to all of our participants that are here. And if you want to find out more about Eagle Forum, you can go to eagleforumca.us. And we have our membership there. And it would be great if you are not a member yet. It'd be great if you go on eagleforumca.us. And if you click on your membership today, then you get free membership for the rest of this year and all of next year. We'd love to have you be a member of Eagle Forum. And without any further ado, let's talk to Brenda Lebsack. I met her probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm thinking that I met her when my oldest was just starting freshman year of high school. And this was, I can't remember the exact year without counting backwards. I would say maybe so it must have been 6 years ago, maybe. Maybe Brenda can say how long she's been speaking out at public engagements like this in just a minute. But I met her probably when this whole thing was just emerging. And so when my oldest was just starting her freshman year of high school, that's when they just started to put the colored papers on the wall, and they were just starting to tell us that there's more than just one gender or one sexual preference, and this was all just emerging then. And in a matter of 4 years, when my youngest started high school, it was full bore on, and my youngest is now about to graduate. And in an 8-year span, it has really, really changed. And I'm sure all of you have seen how much it's really, really changed among the youth in an 8-year span. 8 years ago, you probably didn't have any clue that this was coming for you or towards you or going to affect anybody in your life. You know, we had gays and lesbians, but we didn't really have, like, maybe bisexuals, but we really didn't have like this whole gender spectrum thing going on. And transgender in the classrooms on campus was not really a thing yet. So but Brenda, oh my gosh, she has been speaking out against, when I met her, so this has been many years now, has been speaking out against the California Teachers Association. She's led movements and groups of women and teachers to speak out, to be bold, and to remove themselves from the California Teachers Association. She's done so many amazing things. So without any further ado, I'm going to let her tell you more about herself. And thank you, Brenda. Take it away.
Thank you, Summer. Well, first of all, how many of you, can you just raise your hands, even though a lot of you don't have your video on? How many of you are from California?
All of us, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay. And then, yeah, they can raise their hand on the little emoji. And how many of you are parents or grandparents? Parents or grandparents? Okay. So basically, I don't know what people know, but I don't know how much background. I would imagine this group is pretty knowledgeable. So I'm just going to let you know I'm a teacher. I teach in 7 elementary schools as an adaptive PE teacher. And so I'm going to show you, you know, that the teachers union 2 weeks ago in California, maybe nationwide, I think, had a banned books week. So these banned books that they're saying don't infringe, don't censor books, don't infringe on academic freedom. And I've just been learning recently what these banned books are all about, because I think it was in the spring that they flooded into my district. They just like got dumped into my district, and I did not know the amount. It's like a tsunami. But basically, like, here's one of the books, but this one's been in a lot longer, but it says, what are your words? And this is for kindergartners And it's telling kindergartners that their gender can change like the weather. So we have all these pronouns. And then, by the way, I do have a website, brenda4kids.com, and screenshots of all these books are on my website. And I could go to my website and share the page if you want me to. But this is the one that says, my gender changes like the weather. And then you see the little question mark on this guy's head? Well, that's because the Q in LGBTQ stands for questioning, queer or questioning. So once these little 5-year-olds start questioning their gender after giving infinite pronouns and genders to choose from, they are then considered in the LGBTQ category, which means they become open to all of the mental health services that are available. And those services are usually, they are trained to only affirm kids' genders and their pronouns, okay, no matter what they are. Okay, so we've got that. Now, this is kind of new because this just happened to me like a month ago. We have, I don't know how many of you guys have bookmobiles, but we have the library, the city library has a bookmobile that came onto my elementary school campus. And so during my break, I started browsing the shelves on the playground and I saw this book. So I checked it out. And when I opened it, I was in shock because it told kids how to access sex apps, meaning to take a selfie of yourself, and then that app will access your location. And then it's a full tutorial instructional manual on different types of sexual favors that you can perform. So basically what this book is in my mind, this is the way that our kids can be fully exploited. And I'm talking about, this is really throwing kids who are identifying as LGBTQ to the wolves. It's literally putting them in harm's way of human trafficking, kidnapping, sextortion, exploitation, sexual predators, you name it. Well, I went to the library director right after work because I was so mad. And I said, why is this in the bookmobile? Your bookmobile comes into our elementary schools. It goes into the zoo. It goes into our parks where all the children are. He said, oh, but the bookmobile isn't just for children. It's for, all ages. I'm like, well, then why aren't you going to the colleges? Why aren't you going to the nursing homes? You're going to the places where there's children and you're putting out Play-Doh coloring sheets, Connect Four, and all these little games to attract them. So don't tell me that. And then he said, oh, it's because I'm being pressured by politicians and city commissioners. So I took it to the mayor and I took it to the district attorney and I turned this in. And I'm having a meeting actually with my district office tomorrow, because after, they did take this off. They said, oh, oopsie, maybe that was a mistake. But then I found out it's in my middle schools and high schools in my school district, which my school district is very highly immigrant, non-English speaking Hispanics. So I really feel like they're taking advantage of that particular type of community, right? So anyways, it was only like 2 weeks later, the bookmobile came back onto my campus. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go browse again. And the librarian was checking out books to the kids. And there was a bookshelf behind the librarian. And I said, so what's that? What are the books behind you? And the librarian said, oh, those are the books for teachers and for school employees, adults. Oh, okay. So I started browsing them. They're X-rated. They're pornographic. And I'm like, why are you putting this kind of stuff on an elementary school classroom? And why do you think teachers are wanting this? Right? So then that's why I went and I turned this into the mayor and the city council, because I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. In fact, what I did is I filed a complaint against my district under the uniform complaint policy, uniform complaint procedures. And then I filed sexual harassment because sexual harassment defined in California is actually says distributing explicit text or pictures. So I was able to, charge my district for that. But we'll see what happens tomorrow when I meet with them. I just want to mention, though, I mean, some of this book ban, we've got books coming in. You can go to my website. I mean, this book is called a friend of mine and I, we're teachers, and she is doing a lot of work reading these books. But let me give you some other websites. Takebacktheclassroom.com. Takebacktheclassroom.com. That's from Karen England, and they are putting out different school districts and what books are in what schools. There's another website called Courage is a Habit. CourageIsAHabit.com. And this one is a great resource because it actually people are reading these books and giving you little excerpts so you know what's in the book with the page numbers. So I just want to give this empowerment to you, to all of you. You don't have to be a parent. You're a taxpayer. You are funding public education. Okay. So whatever school is near you, you can go to the school site council meeting. A school site council meeting is like a mini board meeting for that school where they delegate funding and they take care of the budget for that particular school site. You can go to that meeting and they're supposed to post that meeting right outside the school. If they're not posting it in a public place, you need to go to the principal and say, I want to know, I'm a community member and I want to know when your school site council meetings are. You go to that school site council meeting and you find out what books might be in that library, and then you expose these books, because a lot of these things parents do not know. They do not know what's in these books. This one called Push, this literally has in it sex acts with dogs and raping babies. This is how disgusting it is, debased. It is unbelievable what is coming in. I mean, I don't even want to, there's a lot of incest in a lot of these books. It's almost like they're training them to be abusers because they're giving it line by line, on how to do that. And a lot of it, I don't know if we have any people of color in this Zoom. Do we? Because if we do, I want to give you some really good action points. I took this book, Push, to the NAACP of Orange County, okay? Because it is under African American Studies. African American Studies. And I thought, the Black community must be irate when they find out what's coming in representing, African Americans. But to my surprise, the NAACP told me they don't want to be involved in this issue, which totally shocked me. But it's a political deal, and to me, it's very heart-wrenching that people would put politics over the safety of kids, because that's really what's happening. This book is putting our kids in harm's way of human trafficking. I think another big issue is, can I share my screen, Summer?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I want to take you to my website. Okay, let me see if I can go for it. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
I'm fixing it for you right now. Go ahead.
Okay, got it. Okay. So let's see here. Yes, here we go. Okay, can you all see that?
Yes, now we can.
You can. Okay. So let's see. Let me see if I can get out of here.
And this is your website.
Yes, it is.
So it's called Interfaith for Kids.
Interfaithforkids.com, or you can go to brendaforkids.com, either one. Okay.
Okay. So now she's showing us her website, which is either brendaforkids.com or Interfaith for Kids, and four is spelled out on both of those. Interfaithforkids.com. If you're speaking to us, Brenda, we can't hear you.
I didn't know I muted myself. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
go tell us
I'm so
everything.
sorry. Okay. So you just click that. And this actually came from Courage is a Habit. I got it straight from there. Okay. But it'll just show you. You can go through it. It'll show you where it's showing them how to use sex apps right here. Upload a picture of yourself. The app works out your location. Now they say, oh, this is for 18-year-olds and up. However, all the lingo in the book is very juvenile. Okay, they use words like willy, bum, you know, they don't use adult words. So to me, this is really okay. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get. Sorry, guys, because this toolbar is like blocking my view. I'm trying to figure out how to get back to my menu. Oh, well. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. So if you see here, okay, I want to show you another document because when I saw these, when I saw like all of these kindergarten books that are telling kids that their gender changes like the weather, I started thinking this is going to create a mental crisis in young children. They're going to automatically get confused. And we had these crisis hotlines in all the student bathrooms starting in kindergarten. So what I did is I checked out the suicide hotline. The National Suicide Hotline 988 is in California by law. It has to be on the back of every student ID card starting in 7th grade. So I texted the number and pretended to be a child. I said, I'm scared about puberty and I'm unsure of my gender. What should I do? And what they did is they surveyed me, giving me 11 genders to choose from. Agender, boy, man, gender fluid, gender queer, girl, woman, intersex, non-binary, trans masculine, trans feminine, two-spirit, prefer not to answer. They also surveyed me on my sexual orientation. This is actually against the law, okay? You are not supposed to survey minors without parent consent or permission, but apparently there's no accountability here. So they're just doing whatever they want to do. I have challenged this with my district and they took the numbers out. Well, they didn't take out the 988 number, but they did. I'm going to show you what else I found here. Go to articles. Okay. The 988 number then took me to anytime a kid says they're unsure of their gender or their sexuality, they take them to the Trevor Project. And then the Trevor Project, I'm going to show you this, has all these crisis hotlines that we have. They always take kids to the Trevor Project because that's like the go-to for LGBT suicide hotline. And then the Trevor Project tells kids, oh, to go into a gender affirming climate, a safe climate, you can go to Trevor Space. This is Trevor Space right here. It's an international affirming community for ages 13 to 24. Okay. So what I did is I just put in, I went into Trevor Space. I put a date of birth that was 13. But trust me, I'm in my 50s. That means if I can get in, anybody can get in. And I was unvetted. I mean, I got in and I had full access to kids. I saw them chatting, saying, I'm lonely and I need a friend. And then someone just said, I'll be your friend. There was these are different chat clubs, the Witchcraft Club, the Furries Club, where kids can pretend to be animals. The Chosen Family Club, where, you know, if your parents don't go along with all these, your identity will be your new mom and dad, will be your new family. But I mean, that's what cults do. We know that. The Gay Men's Club, and the tagline is, let's talk about boys. They're not even hiding it. The regression space, which is age identity. So this can be a 50-year-old man identifying as a 16-year-old girl. Non-binary pals, which non-binary, by the way, is by law the third gender category now. It's male, female, non-binary. But non-binary is an umbrella term, which means anything. It can be transgender, genderqueer, gender variant. It can be anything. And then we have the Autism Club, which as a special ed teacher, that really bothers me because they're showing a correlation between kids identifying as different genders and being on the autistic spectrum. And then the Roommate Squad, they had others like Guilt and Secrets, polyamory, meaning you have more than one partner, pansexual, all kinds of things going on here. But I did turn this into Homeland Security. I told them, listen, I really think that our schools are being used as a pipeline for human trafficking because all they have to do is, hey, let's meet up, and boom. And, you know, with this whole parent notification policy thing with schools wanting to be able to change a child's gender category, name, and pronouns without parent permission in order to, you know, prevent suicide. Think about that. If you are erasing literally a child's identity behind parents' backs, if a child goes up missing, how is that parent ever going to find their child? This is a poster that was in all of the restrooms starting in kindergarten in my school district, but I did challenge it with a lawyer and these were taken down from the bathrooms, but they're still handing them out on little cards, I found out, like in the wellness centers. I just gave you guys a lot of information and I kind of think I should leave time for question and answer. What do you think, Summer?
I think that you can go on a little bit longer and then, yeah, we'll do question and answer.
Okay. Let's see here.
I think that we all are floored, but we want to hear more.
Okay, then I'm going to show you. How about if I show a video?
I apologize because I was telling people that your website had 4 FOR spelled out.
No, the number 4.
It's the number 4. Yeah. So I wanted to make that correction too. So it's interfaith4kids.com or Brenda4kids.com, but using the 4.
The only difference is the Interfaith 4 Kids has, I have a board and I have clergy that are Jewish, Muslim, Catholic, Protestant, and various races and language groups.
I think we have all the correct links in the chat. For anybody who's interested, just go into the chat.
Great.
Okay. How much time do I have, Summer?
20 minutes and then take some questions.
Okay. I'm going to go to my video section. Okay. So I would say that if you're going to watch videos, like these first 4 are very, I think, important. This third one, the diverse voices, this is where I have Muslim imams, Jewish rabbis, Catholics, lawyers, Chinese, Korean, Blacks, Mexicans, you name it. We're there, every different age group, because what they're trying to do with critical race theory is they're trying to divide us. And so this was back in 2019. I asked these groups to come together and to create this video so that we could show a very diverse population that opposes this and opposes critical race theory as well. Other things on here, I was on PragerU, so you can see that documentary. I was on an Epic Times documentary and also a couple movie documentaries. called Whose Children Are They? And Disconnected. But let's see, why don't I do this 1-minute video just to test it out, okay?
Great. We don't have any volume yet.
No volume?
Yeah, we can't hear it yet.
Oh no, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let me see what's
Just
going
real
on.
quick there, when you go to share your screen in the video, there's a box where you have to check extra that says share sound. If you don't, that the sound won't come through.
Okay, so it says, let's see, share screen, and it says extra. All right. Well, I know, I think, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not super, oh, wait, let me see if I can try it. I'm just not seeing the, I see new share. You are sharing.
You might have to like stop sharing and then reshare so that you can get that option.
Aha. Okay. One participant is sharing advanced sharing options.
There you go.
But I don't see audio. It's not on here.
Okay.
I'm not seeing audio. I don't know how to do this. Sorry, guys. You'll have to watch that one on your own.
What did that gentleman just instruct you to do? Ask him to do that again.
Yeah,
He said to go to advanced sharing options, which I did. And I'm not seeing anything about audio on here.
it is when you actually go to share your screen. So when you go to share screen and you select the screen, there should be a box towards the bottom that says share sound. And I can't see what you're seeing, so that's the best I can do flying blind.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Oh, I see it now.
Great.
Okay, let's see if it works now. Let's start over. It's only 1 minute.
Brenda Lebsack, a former Orange Unified School District board member, a teacher in Santa Ana Unified, a state delegate for the California Teachers Association. The teachers union passed a business item saying kids should have access to puberty blockers and hormone therapy without parent knowledge or permission, regardless of their age. Chalk Hospital partners with many Orange County schools. However, parents were never notified that Chalk Hospital has a gender clinic and is medically transitioning 9-year-olds and socially transitioning 5-year-olds. The word transgender is actually defined as many genders. In fact, in my district, we have books of kindergartners that the gender can change like the weather based on their feelings, and that there are infinite pronouns to choose from. The teachers union endorsed the drag queen and Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who mock Catholics. The 988 suicide hotline surveys students, giving them 11 plus genders to choose from. I support honesty to parents, and I support the parent notification policy. Thank you.
Now, I'm not sure if, I think somebody's not muted.
Yeah.
Not muted.
Okay. I don't know if you could hear that okay or not.
I thought I was muted.
Okay.
I could hear it, but I could also hear that there was something else going on in the background.
Yeah, it wasn't the video.
Mhm.
Okay. But there are some other videos. I mean, if you want, we might want to just take the time to watch one more. This one here, this is a 6-minute video that I believe really explains the agenda as far as with the community schools and how they're using this questioning, why they're intentionally confusing our kids. Basically, we are partnering with community with children's hospitals that have gender clinics. I don't know if anybody lives in Orange County, but Chalk Hospital has a gender clinic, and they're partnering with our schools, and they're getting oodles of money, grant money from the government to do so. So they are transitioning kids starting at age 9 medically and socially transitioning them at age 5. And the last video you just watched showed you things about the teachers union in California that, yeah, they passed a policy, they passed a business item in 2020 saying that kids should have access to puberty blockers and hormone therapy without parent consent or permission, for any age. Okay, they passed that in 2020. Now, once they pass a business item, it doesn't take that long before it goes towards legislation. So that's their goal. They're doing that right now. That is their goal, to do that. Okay, I think I'm going to show this one because it ties in critical race theory. Let's see here.
Yeah, and then if everybody could please make
I'm
sure
a black man. I'm an international business owner, youth coach, and father of 3 children. Soy Latino. I'm a practicing Muslim. And we all stand united against critical race theory, the hypersexualization and radical gender indoctrination of our children. Our children. Not the school's children. Not the state's children. My children. And my God-given parental rights. My school, my choice. United we stand. So please stand.
As a public school teacher and former school board member in California, parents should know that a new gender category has been added to student information forms called non-binary. Here it is on the Special Education Information System. Non-binary means unlimited gender choices. The California Teachers Union says gender is a spectrum of many genders with a gamut of pronouns such as they, ze, here, nos, tree, etc. Please check out my website, www.brenda4kids.com, to see examples of picture books, coloring pages, and cartoons for all grades, starting in preschool. The California Department of Education defines non-binary as an umbrella term that encompasses genders outside of male and female, such as transgender, intersex, agender, genderqueer, gender fluid, two-spirit, bigender, pangender, gender nonconforming, or gender variant. California's Ethnic Studies model curriculum says genders are ever-changing, evolving, and expansive, and these chosen identities are protected minorities, just like ethnicity, race, or skin color. The ACLU and the Teachers Union say these radical gender teachings create a safe school climate of inclusion. However, this is not inclusion. It is confusion and delusion.
As a parent, I oppose teaching children to doubt their biological gender because they don't fit gender stereotypes. Girls who prefer playing trucks over Barbies are still girls, and boys who prefer playing house over cops and robbers are still boys. These teachings that confuse kids about their gender based on what they like or don't like, or on how they feel, will destroy young lives.
This is Dr. Ahmed Sobo, the Religious Director of the Chino Valley Islamic Center. As Muslims and Arab American communities, we have major concerns and objections about these teachings in the public school system. These teachings are against our values, our family values, our religious values, and our cultures.
Hi, I'm Pastor Zach, and as a spiritual leader and parent, we cannot allow state schools to shame our children for being who God created them to be, whether male or female.
I'm Pastor Danny De Leon of Templo Calvario for 44 years. I don't get too involved in politics, but this time I have to say no. No to what is being called the unlimited gender in California. They're going to offer that to our children, and you as a parent have to say no. Es tiempo que el padre diga no, hasta aquí.
As a congregational rabbi of 3 decades in New York, New Jersey, and in Orange County for the past 15 years, my Bible teaches that God created humans as men and women, 2 genders only. My many colleagues among Christian pastors, Catholic priests, and Muslim imams all believe and teach the same, as the Bible says. Male and female, he created them. In a state of California, whose public schools rank towards the bottom of national averages in both math and reading skills, our teaching focus in the schools should be in those areas, and we should allow parents the authority to teach their children at home the values that they cherish.
Hi, my name is Gina. As an immigrant from Korea, mother and children's pastor, What is happening in public education breaks my heart. I try to give immigrant Koreans a voice to the States, but they only provided the materials in English. They take away our rights and do not respect our culture.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ken Williams. I'm a board-certified primary care physician and 25-year member of the Orange County Board of Education. I'm particularly concerned about this curriculum because it confuses medical science with political indoctrination.
Hi, my name is Johanna E., and I'm a high school student who feels that public school is no longer safe for students who have conservative views for fear of being harassed, rejected, or cussed out. If we don't believe what they want us to believe, we're accused of racism, so it makes us afraid to speak for ourselves.
As a student leader, I resent the state for insulting our intelligence. Young people are not guinea pigs for the state's social experiments.
Hi, my name is Saga. As a first-generation immigrant from communist China, raising a family in America was my dream. Sadly, public schools are undermining the family, just like the communists in my homeland. When my daughter was 4 years old, she came home from school wanting to call me Daddy and my husband Mommy. We were shocked to find preschool books teaching kids that gender is fluid and changeable. We immediately put her into a private Catholic school. But children whose families cannot afford a private school are forced to indoctrination. This is not fair. California needs school choice. 我们发现有很多儿童读物在教唆孩子，性别是多变的，以及可以改变的。我们每个加州人都应站起来捍卫父母的权利和择校的自由。
As a preschool director, I attended a workshop provided by the Orange County Department of Education recommending to not call kids boys and girls anymore. We were told to use gender-neutral words such as friends, and to replace the words mom and dad with parents or partners. The master plan for universal preschool curriculum suggests we teach preschoolers gender is fluid and expansive.
I'm Dr. Andre Van Mol, a board-certified family physician in California, co-chair of the American College of Pediatricians Adolescent Sexuality Committee. Science shows sex is established at conception, male or female, in every human cell with a nucleus. There are two sex cells, sperm and egg, and there is no third. Disorders of sex development are commonly called intersex, not an extra sex, and they do not equal a third sex. Gender identity theory is ideological, not scientific, and gender dysphoria is a diagnosis. Coaching children into gender confusion and using emotional blackmail to do it has no place in schools.
As a parent, I do not want my child going to a school where Teachers Union promotes gender confusion and a myriad of gender choices and gender pronouns. This is insanity and child abuse.
As a DACA recipient, I am appalled at the hypocrisy of public education and teacher unions. They say they respect diversity, yet they mute the multicultural voices they say they protect. Nuestras familias necesitan y merecen opciones educatorias.
My name is Mustafa Omar. I'm an imam in Southern California at the Islamic Institute of Orange County. I'm also the president of California Islamic University and an executive member of the Fiqh Council of North America. As a Muslim leader, I can tell you that Muslims do not support these teachings. Not only are they against the religion of Islam, they're against family values, and they're even against common sense.
As a pastor, as a superintendent, as someone that sits on a national board of our organization, I know of hundreds of pastors that stand in opposition of this teaching that simply defy biology. Public education has betrayed the taxpayers, has betrayed parents with unlimited gender teaching, and should no longer be entrusted with our most valuable children.
Hi, I'm Mary Hassan. I'm an attorney, public policy expert, and a Catholic mom. And what's happening in California public schools is devastating to our children's faith and their emotional stability. When government schools tell children that their feelings, not their bodies, determine whether they're boys or girls, they're lying to our children. When they tell middle schoolers that it's good to self-define a gender identity regardless of the reality of their male or female body, they're lying to our children. when they tell teens that who they are means it's good to take cross-sex hormones that will destroy their fertility or have surgery to amputate body parts they don't like, they're lying to our children. And when the schools tell our children that what happens in school stays in school, that the school will keep our children's gender confusion or social transition a secret from us, their parents, then they're lying to us. The schools have broken our trust. And so here's my message to parents, to my fellow Catholics. There are no do-overs on childhood. We get one chance to teach our children the truth about God, themselves, and the world around them. The public schools today have a different goal: pushing gender ideology, being woke, and driving a wedge between us and our children.
My name is Mark Little. I'm a lawyer and a pastor in Los Angeles. The California Department of Education says kids can choose or self-certify their own gender. The state has authorized school personnel or mental health workers to change a child's gender category. Change it in the California data system without parental consent or knowledge. And no age restriction is given. This is wrong. It's wrong for parents, and it's wrong for children. All races, religions, and language groups, we must unite to stop this abuse of power. Together, we can be the solution by putting school choice
It says 20.
on the 2022 ballot.
2022, but we didn't get that. Okay, there you go. I'm going to stop that. So I think that's about it. Do you want to do some questions or do we have time?
Yes, we definitely have time to do questions.
Okay.
So when did you first become aware of this and start sharing all of this knowledge?
2015 is when my eyes were opened. Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing now.
And now we're to the point where they literally have legislated in California to lie to teens by condoning this condition and to lie to parents.
Well, Summer, right now, I discovered that because I was a board member from 2016 to 2020, and I was doing a deep dive on everything, and I saw how deceptive things were. And the little word "or" is very tricky and very deceptive. So I noticed in one of the California Department of Ed Q&As for AB 1266 that they said parents or mental health workers can change a child's gender category. And once I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness, the California Department of Ed has just said that school personnel, like nurses and counselors, administrators, can change a child's gender category without parent knowledge. It's not a law yet, but they are working on it becoming a law. And that's why the Attorney General under Newsom, Rob Bonta, is suing Chino Valley School District over the parent notification policy because it is disrupting their plan.
Yeah, so what other lawsuits are happening right now? And I'm hoping that a lot of people that are on tonight have seen the Epoch Times what is it, gender transition documentary. But that's a really good one if people haven't seen it. So in there, it explains, it's a documentary about a woman, a mother, whose child basically is taken away from her, which is now legislated as legal, as this just passed here in California. But basically her daughter decided that she wanted to be called by he, him pronouns, and took on a friend who encouraged this behavior to the point of transitioning. And it's the story of the heartbreak of this daughter, or I mean, of this mother, literally not being able to rescue her own daughter from, uh, basically running away from her house and everything that she knew at this time. And
Yeah.
that's where we're at right now. So, I mean, what other lawsuits are happening, and what kinds of things can we do to help?
Do you want to, like, if somebody has a question, Summer, what do you want them to do?
They can raise their hand or they can unmute. And then I think Carol and Christine, you accidentally are unmuted right now, and Thomas is unmuted. So if you guys wanted to mute just so we don't hear your background noise. Other words, you're welcome to stay unmuted if you have a question. But maybe
I
answer.
think a big thing to do is to increase awareness. That's why I created these videos. I'm trying to make them shorter. I know a lot of people like them 1 minute. This one's 11 minutes, but just people need to be aware of how extreme this is. People think the word transgender means boy to girl, girl to boy. It doesn't. It means anything. It is an umbrella term that can mean anything. And part of the teacher's sexual harassment, we had a training and they define transgender and gender identity. And this is what they do. They say, if you want to be something different than sex assigned at birth, which can be boy, girl, both, neither, or something else. I asked my school district, what is something else? They couldn't answer. And when I went to the CDC definition of non-binary, it defines non-binary as gender creative, meaning that kids can create or make up their own genders. It's very radical.
So these books that you were talking about, where are they on your website?
Under articles.
Okay.
This is Tom Baden. I'm a family practice physician, and I met I went to your chat, and I put in an organization called Beacon of Light, and this is a Christian organization that allows districts to teach sexual health education that is currently being taught by abortion clinic. What's the word for that?
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood. So, back to give an oversight, California now requires sex education to be taught in junior high school and high school, and the main person that does it is Planned Parenthood. This organization that I outlined is one of the Christian organizations that has gotten approval from the state to, if the district wants a mandatory sex education be taught, it's presented more conservatively. And I'm sure there's some many other organizations out there, but people on this call should look up this website and see how they have organized, and go to the district and ask the board if they would please allow them to teach sex education and not Planned Parenthood.
Yes, the Beacon of Light is great. I know Amber. She's a friend of mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question?
I do. Hi, Brenda. This is Carol Humphrey from Coronado, California. And I've met you before, and I so appreciate what you're doing. But I wanted to tell you we found out what was going on in our public library. During the toddler preschool story hour, they were reading LGBTQ stories to our little ones, our very little ones. One was called Rainbow Parade. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
That's on my website.
Okay, wonderful. Well,
under articles.
Thank you. So many of us went to the city council meeting, but they knew that we were coming, and so the opposition was out there in force. And we said what we said, but you know what? The policy had already been established, And it essentially is, we're going to continue reading those stories. And if you don't like it, you can just keep your children at home. Essentially, that's what they said.
Right. Look at my website about that book in particular, because they're mixing nude adults with children.
Yes.
And so it is absolute desensitization and grooming. No doubt about it.
Right.
So what we need, a lot of people are talking about, well, you know, run for an elected office, be a decision maker. Okay. But school board is not the only one. The library board, the board, our public libraries are ran by a board. So I would encourage people to get on the board of your public library. They're run unopposed. And they have board meetings in the public library.
I know, right. I hear what you're saying, Brenda, but our school board is just completely taken over by woke people. That was their agenda. Our library board, the same. And now the city council is going in that direction also. And, you know, 30 years ago when I moved here, our community was so conservative and just lovely. And now it's just dreadful. It's awful. Our schools are so affirmative of the LGBT population.
Yeah, there is an agenda going on here. Absolutely. I believe they want kids sterilized before they graduate.
Right.
That's why we have the Children's Hospital working in conjunction with our wellness centers. And they want to turn I just was on a call, $25 billion. It's a one-time gift for grants to work in cooperation with our schools for mental health. But think about this, when you're telling kids that they can be gender fluid, they can be, you know, we are literally creating mental psychoses, right? Because the definition of psychoses is that your feelings and behavior, your thoughts do not align with external reality. And that's what's happening with all these genders. The definition of schizophrenia or split personalities, that's what gender fluidity is, right? So it's just ironic that they say we have a mental health crisis when they're part of the reason they're creating the crisis.
And I saw somebody else's hand up, David Campbell.
Yes, thank you, Summer, and thank you, Brenda. Really excellent presentation. You mentioned your interest in awareness going back to 2015, I think I heard, and I'm thinking even further back to the 70s with sex and drugs and rock and roll. Can we draw a line straight or otherwise from there to now? And I'm also thinking about the role that agendas might play, 2030 UN, and I'm thinking of sustainable goals. Number 4 is quality education, and number 5 is gender equality. It's interesting that they're next to each other on their table. And do you have anything along those lines, just in the history of how we've gotten from the free swinging 70s to now, and what some of the large institutional forces are? Thank you.
Well, David, I've kind of lived in I wouldn't say I've lived in a bubble, but I would say my eyes opened in 2015, because it was the first time on all my years, I've been teaching for 30 years now. But I was never involved in my teachers union, and most teachers aren't. It's the radicals that are involved. And I felt like after my kids were grown that I should find out what my union is about. So I went to my first conference after being a teacher over 20 years, my first conference in 2015. And it was when I looked at the conferences, I saw that none of them had anything to do with academics. It was all social justice, LGBTQ, all the human rights, all this stuff. So when I went to that conference, I went to the LGBTQ one, and the president called the Supreme Court plaintiffs. I don't know if you remember Friedrichs versus CTA, Rebecca Friedrich, called the plaintiffs a spawn of Satan in the conference. And I'm like, what in the world? Who are the plaintiffs? And then, I learned about Rebecca Friedrich, but also I found out the Christian Educators Association were the plaintiffs, and I am in the Christian Educators Association. So I'm like, the president of the union just called me a spawn of Satan. This is hate speech. And that's when my eyes were opened. And since then, I'll let you know that just last weekend, at the Leadership CTA conference, the executive director said from this platform, do you guys know Jack Hibbs, Pastor Jack Hibbs? Called Pastor Jack Hibbs a white nationalist that's breeding fear and hatred in California. I mean, they really do want, they're breeding hatred towards people of faith.
Can I add that's spiritual warfare?
Yeah,
Definitely
absolutely.
On the parents, on the kids, on conservatives and religions.
Absolutely, Maria. Yeah. But David, you probably have a better grasp on the whole historical background than I do.
Oh, maybe more interest than grasp, but I'll work on it and have something to report back another time.
Well, Alex Newman is really great on that, and he has a wonderful podcast, and I learn a lot from him.
Right. Yeah, we
I
love it.
do want to mention one thing though, with all this gender stuff, and if you do listen to Alex Newman, I've been on his podcast several times, but in 2019, 3 months before the COVID lockdown, I attended a school board association conference with 5,000 California school board members. And the keynote speaker was Michio Kaku. And he spoke on The Future of Humanity, which is a book that he just wrote. He's considered a futurologist from New York University and a physicist. And I was curious during the COVID lockdown, and I started reading his book. And it's literally all about transhumanism. It's about meshing artificial intelligence with our DNA and our biology. And I believe that's what they're using transgenderism as the gateway to transhumanism.
Yes.
It's a way for us to not have a creator. We are our own creation. And I think, have you all heard the phrase sex assigned at birth?
Yes.
That is on a lot of our documents now. And like, where did this phrase come from? But I'm really fighting that phrase, saying that that is discrimination against my religion, because I don't believe that my sex was assigned. I believe it was ordained by my creator. It was divinely ordained. And to say that it was assigned actually goes against the Declaration of Independence, because the Declaration of Independence says we were endowed by our creator with inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If we deny our creator, we inadvertently give up our inalienable rights.
Just let that sink in for a second. That was really powerful what you just said. Well, I mean, that's where we're at right now, is the art of deception, and they're deceiving this younger generation for exactly what you're saying, to make them think that they are gods that create their own world, and that there is no God that creates this world. And I really think that this idea of uploading your soul into an AI universe, metaverse, is their goal. It's to steal your soul literally right out of your body, that you don't need even a body to live anymore. You can just live in a computer metaverse. And it's crazy what's happening. But I mean, it seems like such a big issue, such an overwhelming issue, that this is something we really need to be talking about a lot more, especially with youth that are in our lives. What do they think about all of this, and do they have any idea? They don't. And so we need to be equipping our children to know God and know their true identity, and to be able to recognize this type of deception. And it's so strong in our public schools, and we don't want to lose those children. So we need to be speaking out to those that are going to be affecting the classrooms. And that means showing up at board meetings and participating and reading from these books, reading to them what's in these books, because a lot of people don't even know what's in these books. So I'm so glad that you have that on your website and that you're giving us these tools. Is there other tools on your website that you would like to direct us to?
There is a resource page on the menu. You can go to that. It directs you to other websites, but I do need to add a few more resources on that. And those are the two that I gave you just now, was Courage is a Habit, but also, what's the name of that? Now I just forgot. Let me see. Back to classroom. Oh, takebacktheclassroom.com. That's a very good one. Take Back the Classroom.
So those are your two favorites, takebacktheclassroom.com and courageisahabit.com.
My other ones that are my favorites are already on my website, but those two I haven't put on my website yet. And I've been using those two for the just to find out what's in these books.
Gotcha. And then what do you have on Brenda's creative messaging?
Oh, I have like some songs or poems that I wrote, that kind of thing. Maybe satires.
Satires.
Try to use some humor.
Mm-hmm. So when we're speaking out, what do you suggest with where we're at right now? What do you think it would be the most effective thing that we could do?
I mean, everybody has a different role to play depending on what you do for a living. People in the medical profession, exposing a lot of this stuff. Nurses, I don't know if you're in the workforce or if you're retired, but retirees have a big portion to play too, because, phone calling, just getting people aware, talk, to people. What you're doing with this Zoom is fantastic, and inviting friends to come on. And really, I really believe we need to awaken the church more. And that's why, I started the Interfaith Coalition, because we know the media is being censored. We know that they are suppressing the truth. And I have firsthand of that, because I can't tell you how many articles I've written, and it's so hard to get into the mainstream media. And even when I do get in, which I have, sometimes I'll be accepted, and then 2 weeks later, they'll change their mind. So there's a battle going on even within the, it's like, okay, I've got all the documentation and all the truth there. You can't argue with anything I'm saying because it's truth, but they won't print it because they don't want people to know it. So we need, just like in the civil rights movement, their voices were suppressed and they had to go through the church. And I think we need to access the churches as a place of information. But there's a lot of spiritual leaders that are afraid or think that I don't want to get political. We're way beyond getting political. This is our children. This is the next generation. We're either going to keep it or lose it. So we have to make that choice.
Yes, agreed. I mean, I love Eric Metaxas's book, Letter to the Churches, American Churches. American Church is what it is. Letter to the American Church. Because exactly, like they have pulpits which they can speak from, which I think helps really get the word out there at just what a critical hour we are in.
Yes. And I think the voting guides are great. We can share that among friends, because a lot of times people don't know who to vote for. And politics, I mean, you never want to trust ads, because it's like, it's just so much slander and lying. And we need to go to sources we trust. and then pass those sources on to other people and say, these are trustworthy according to your values.
And I really think that you can split it that easily. I mean, I have on my shirt today that says a person is a person, no matter how small. And I think that most people that are pro-life understand these issues the way that we do. And most people who are pro-life do not understand these issues the way that we do. It's really that simple. So I would say, you know, the easiest way to split it is just vote pro-life, vote for those babies, vote for those children, vote for the people who think that those that are voiceless matter. Because that's where I woke up in 2015, probably about the same time that I met you. Is I was going to my legislators' offices and I was talking to the Democrats and I was talking to the Republicans, because I figured what I was interested in was, you know, children that have been harmed and maimed and now are voiceless. And so if I'm speaking that should not fall on party lines. Everybody should care about that. That's humanity. And what I found was that the Republicans were listening and the Democrats were not. And why was that? To me, it was that whisper of the spirit in my head. I could hear it very clear. Like, if they don't value life, they're not going to hear you. They're not going to value these children who are voiceless. And I was speaking about children that were already living, but I realized that it went to the unborn children just as much as it went to the living children. It's sad that it's became so inverted.
Yes. I mean, when I went to Sacramento, you probably noticed it yourself that pretty much on every Democrat store was a Planned Parenthood poster. It's just like they're endorsed by them.
It's a culture of death. They stand on a culture of death, of killing and murdering innocent voiceless children. So and then now they're promoting this with saying that it's empathy and compassion to let these children be whatever they want without any parental control or parenting. And I think parents have a very important role to play in society, and we're trying to basically erase parenting and just let kids not have guidance.
Yeah, I'll tell you something kind of mind-blowing, but Planned Parenthood put out a glossary of terms that's 900 terms, 100 pages. I read through it. The things I found in that glossary were unbelievable. Unbelievable. I have not put this glossary yet on my website. I need to do it under documents, but there was a sexual orientation in there, necrophilia, which is sex with dead people. I just I couldn't even believe the things I was reading. They were normalizing castration as gender affirming care.
I think it's the same lady though.
Same lady.
Oh, she's talking. I'm sorry. I just had a question. I just wanted to tell everybody something. Reformcalifornia.org. Paul DeMaio, he has videos on there. He talks about lots of stuff, but he also talks about this stuff. And it's really good. Paul, reformcalifornia.org. Paul DeMaio is the guy's name. He's on YouTube. He does a video every day. And he's really good.
Okay, great. Awesome.
And he's turning people from Democrats to a Republican. So.
So Brenda, on your website, can people subscribe to hear more from you? Do you have a newsletter?
Oh, I don't have a newsletter, but I did just start, I work full time, but I did just hire a marketing person like a couple weeks ago. So, because I'm not really good with social media. So they're trying to put stuff up on like Twitter and stuff I don't know. It's just started. But pretty much if you go to my website, you have a question, you can press the contact and it'll go to my email. So I do talk to people that way. But yeah, I also have a YouTube. I forgot to say, I have a YouTube channel called Brenda Lebsack. That's it. Just Brenda Lebsack. And it's a lot of, I've helped a lot of people write speeches for school board meetings. So, you know, a lot of those people I videotaped and put them on my website so people could have ideas on ways to speak.
That's great. That's a great way to end. If
Okay.
you're wondering what to say, then you can go to Brenda's website and you can see videos of people who have decided, you know, how they're going to speak to the boards, and I'm sure we can glean some great ideas off of there. So that's really important. I think a lot of us do something, but then we don't know what to say. So that would be really great to be able to have those examples.
Can you put on your email address on the chat box?
You can, if you go to my website and click the contact button, it goes directly to my email.
Got it.
And Brenda, as somebody who just did that, I have to say it is a delightfully easy website to use. Whoever set that up for you, or if you set that up, I did just send you a note, and it was very simple to send you a note. So thank you for that ability
great.
to contact you so easily.
Thank you, Neil.
Can I put in a couple cents? I'm from Newport Mesa, Newport Beach, and Costa Mesa. And we've been working on critical race theory, opposing that, trying to get a parent rights policy. But like other districts, we don't have a majority. We only have 3 out of the 7 votes. And so right now we're looking for candidates to replace, well, so that we can have the majority back. But the other thing, we had a pastor and a couple other people come forward to offer to be intercessors. And we have a little signal just to kind of update them on how to pray. And actually, they've gone to the district several times to pray right before the meetings, and to also sit there in the meetings and pray. And because it is a spiritual battle.
Yes.
And I really appreciate, Brenda, all the information you've given us tonight. And we all have our own little project or assignment. I'm currently working with the district on the list of books that from Karen's website, from Take Back the Classroom and other resources, to ask the district where these books are located in our Newport Mesa schools. And so far, we've identified probably 30. And last week, I went with a friend of mine to just start with one book. They both die at the end. And because it doesn't do any good for us, we don't have the majority on the board. So we have to go through their process of weeding out the books basically one at a time, if we follow their process. So we're going in the right direction, but it's going to take a long time. But they have for 20 years, we haven't looked at what's been on the school library shelves or really paid attention. I'm a former school board member too, from 94 to 02, but they got rid of me because I was too conservative. And so everybody's got something to do, but prayer, I believe, is really important, to pray for wisdom and pray for the school board members and the superintendent. So thank you, Brenda, for what you're doing.
Definitely.
Thank you, Wendy. And thank you, Brenda, for working full-time and still finding time outside of working full-time to come meet with us tonight and to show up on so many levels and to speak out and let people know what's going on and what you're seeing from the inside. Thank you so much. We really honor you. And
thank you.
Yeah, and with that, I just want to say, you know, if you want to be a part of Eagle Forum more, we have our monthly webinars and have wonderful topics like Brenda Lebsack come speak to us and let us know what's going on and what we can do to help. So thank you everybody for joining tonight, and we'll be back on again for another webinar the 4th Monday of every month at 7 p.m. And if you're not already subscribed to our email list, you can email me either by going to our website, which was eagleforumca.us, and then hitting the contact button, or you can just email me directly, eagleforumcaleader@gmail.com. And with that, again, I'll say if you want to be a member, it's easy to go to our eagleforumca.us website and just click on the membership page, and you'll get free membership for the rest of this year and for all of next year if you're new and you'd like to get a membership. And we look forward to having everybody with us again here shortly. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Thank you, Brenda, again.
You
I hope
bet.
everybody got her website, and you all are going to do everything you can to takebacktheclassroom.com and courageisahabit.com and brendaforkids.com.
And those
So,
little videos can be shared on social media. That's why I'm trying to make shorter ones.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Let's share videos.
Share. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Share
Bye-bye.
email. You can. Good night, everyone.